And welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by Grounded Coffee Bar. My name's Damian Dennis, and this week we're going to be talking softball. And joining me is head coach Mike Bednarz. Welcome.
Hi, Damien. How you doing?
Uh, you know, Technical issues, so I'm doing
That's
okay.
all right.
But
We'll get through it.
we had a good conversation already, and we had to trash half of it because my mic muted. So,
Okay.
but yeah, we're here to talk about your season. You guys are rolling right now. Excited to get into this conversation for the second time. But before we do that, I got to kick it to the sponsor, Grounded Coffee Bar, who's a proud presenter of not just this show, but JJC Athletics.
Hey everyone, it's a great day to get grounded. With locations in New Lenox and Frankfort, it's always a good time to stop by and try our seasonal drinks, whether that's cherry as summer comes to an end or pumpkin as fall begins. We've also updated our hours to better serve you. We're open late on Fridays and Saturdays now until 9 p.m. Make sure you're following our socials, that's Instagram and Facebook, for the latest updates on our specials and events so you don't miss out. Grounded Coffee Bar is a proud sponsor of Coffee with the Wolves and JJC Athletics.
All right, Coach. So I know you guys are, you're on a win streak right now. I think it's 13 games, 5 straight series wins. Winning streak dates back to March 10th. So much of this month has just been spent with JJC Wolf softball winning. What can you say, to this success right now?
Well, a lot's been our pitching and defense. And pretty much at any level you play at, baseball or softball, if you can pitch it well, you catch it, you're going to have a good chance. Your hitting usually figures it out, and that's where we've been right now is our pitching's giving us a chance for our hitters to figure it out. I think offensively we have barely scratched the surface of what we can really do. Some are figuring it out, but really our gap-to-gap kids, our line drive hitters have really been coming through for us and, making things work for us really well. We've been just very solid with getting big two-strike hits. We've had a number of those this year, and that's something we talk about, all the way back to the fall, about two-strike approach. Don't try and do too much, making adjustments. And just, our power numbers aren't quite there right now that we are expecting, but I think they will be, when we get, a month from now. It's just the hitters figuring it out, making some tweaks at the plate, getting their balance, getting their timing, and, that'll all come together. But for the time being, our pitching has given us a chance to do what we've been able to do so far.
How do you kind of, it's weird to ask this question considering, kind of the start to the year you guys have had, but how do you improve in those areas and kind of get your student athletes to the point where they're performing to that level you expect them and want them to be at?
I think it's just confidence, and they're playing with confidence right now, and just keep building on that. Keep doing what we're doing and getting them to believe in the fact that what they're doing is the result of their success, or vice versa. The success is the result of what they've been, the time and work they've been putting in. And I think if you continue to reinforce that and understand that you can have this success, if you just keep continuing to work, I think if they stop working, the success is going to stop too. So I think we have the right type of kids with the right mindset to come in and put in the time, and I think they have the right vision and the right goals to help them do that.
Who are some of the student athletes who are really kind of making an impact so far during this opening stretch of the season?
Well, so you could look at a number of them. Paige Borton, really, she started off the year on fire for us and hasn't let up. When she makes an out, it's usually a hard hit ball. She's one of them, been going gap to gap really well with us, doing a great job with 2 strikes on her. She had a number of 2-strike hits this year. Sam Rios, Carly McMillan, Leah Herkel, that top 4 in the order. Carly and Sam have been alternating at shortstop for us, and I figured it out the other day. Between the two of them, I think they're close to hitting 500 between the two of them as shortstops. Carly's been doing an awesome job on the mound for us, along with Avery Jury. Skylar Welcome, who's you're going to talk to in a little bit. She's been, coming through with RBIs for us. I know she gets down on herself and gets frustrated sometimes, but she has such high expectations for herself. But she's done an outstanding job at driving in runs, getting us, what we need when we need it. Taylor Wells is picking it up this week. She's had 3 home runs this week, so she's starting to figure it out. Our outfield, Lauren Pell has been outstanding. Natalie Hager's filled in for her a few times in center field, and she's given us some gap-to-gap power where she, with her speed, any ball she hits in the gap, she gets a triple on it. I think right now she's second in the nation in triples, and Lauren Pell is second in the nation in stolen bases. That's just sitting right there. Ashlyn Pichetti does a great job at first base, and we've had a great rotation of kids playing different positions and keeping everybody pretty much for the most part ready to go.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Lauren Pell because I noticed the other day. I think was it one game where she had 5 stolen bases.
5 stolen bases at Morton. Yeah.
Yeah. How big is kind of a stat line like that? Just kind of as you make your way through the season.
They know that they got speed, and we've pretty much given them the green light to go ahead and go. Some of the girls that we have that are a little quicker, and a little rather than go with a straight steal sign, just let them kind of navigate it on their own. And that's what I've learned that from some other coaches I've worked with. Back when I was coaching baseball and stuff, is just go ahead and give them a green light, and if we don't want them to steal, maybe let them know. But to have that as a weapon, we can use her pretty much anywhere in the order. We've used her as a leadoff hitter. We use her as a 9 hitter, as somebody's coming around and being that's almost like having 2 leadoff hitters then if she's in that 9 spot. So her positioning is valuable in the order. She plays really good defense for us, and she's a very good player. She's a hard worker and very committed to what she's doing.
What can you say to your coaching, so far this season? Because, this is my 3rd season kind of working here during softball season. And, this team firing more than the previous 2 years. Is that, recruiting? Is that coaching? Is that just the caliber of student athlete? All the above?
It's just a great group of kids, and it's very easy to coach them. They make you want to come to the field every day. There's nothing special that's going on as far as the coaching part of it goes. It's just putting them on the field and letting them go play and turning them loose and honestly on the other end to try not to overcoach them and try and do the wrong things.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it when we were talking about Lauren Pell there, but how much work goes into figuring out the lineup when it comes to batting? Because you said like Lauren, for example, she can kind of slot in anywhere.
It kind of depends on what lineup we're going with that day. I talked with our assistant coach, Liz Brzezinski, who just came with us, joined us on February 27th, right before our first game. And she's been doing a good job helping us out. And then we have Len Johnson, our volunteer assistant, who comes in, and we usually get together on how we want to go about the lineup and how we want to approach things. And a lot depends on who's pitching that day, for us, and how we're going to make our order, because our pitchers are all good hitters too. So it's not like we want to hit for them or anything. So usually we can kind of go off that and see how we're set up with our lineup. And that kind of makes a decision on where we would put somebody like Lauren in the order.
Yeah. And you mentioned, just performance at the plate, but I think it was yesterday's game. Like, you had a couple athletes out there who I think were perfect at the plate during the 2 games.
Darcy had a 4 for 4. Taylor had a 4 for 4. I said after game 1 to Taylor, I said, when I played, I never had a 4 for 4. I said I had a 3 for 3. I've had 5 for 5s, 4 for 5s, but I never had a 4 for 4. I said, so that's pretty good. And 2 of hers were home runs, and she drove in 5 runs. Darcy, I hit all singles, but she was hitting the ball good too. So we have people, sometimes on the bench that could be playing anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the depth of our team right now, and that's really our strength is the depth. We can run 2 solid lineups out there every day and be competitive.
Yeah. And I know before we hit record, you had mentioned that Friday's game, so this comes out Friday, so today's game got canceled and moved to April 6th, right?
Right.
But your next home game, I believe, is Sunday. Mm-hmm. How do you plan, or how are you going to coach in the sense of keeping this momentum going? I mean, it's hard to say you're going to win out. I mean, you've still got well over a month of action to be played, but you want to keep this momentum going and win as much as possible. How do you keep that going?
We play a very good schedule, and that's our strength. And I think Barry over at COD would, I think, agree with me that the schedule that we play makes us both very battle-tested, makes us both very good teams. In a Division III area, I think, both of us kind of feel like one of us has to be eliminated in May, and it's almost not fair because of the teams that we play to make us better. What we need to really be careful with doing right now is just not overworking our pitchers. It's very easy to run Carly out there or Avery Jury out there because they have been so strong. But Cassie Martinez has given us a few innings, but everything she's given us has been really good. Skylar herself has been going out there, and she's figuring it out, and she's finding a zone for us now. Keegan gives us a lot. Okay, she's just a bulldog on the mound, and just, she's always around the zone for us and giving us something good. She keeps hitters off stride, and we picked up Danny Chorak right before the season. She decided that she wanted to play, and we're glad that she did. And so she's just trying to work herself back into her pitching condition as we go through the season. So I think not burning the pitching out, and also I think keeping our minds fresh. I think last year when we got to North Dakota for the district playoffs, I think mentally we were a little drained, and we're in a position now where we have depth and people can get breaks and stay fresher, and that's going to help us going forward.
Yeah. And I wanted to kind of go back to like just this win streak, but your last game that you lost was to, I believe, to USC Union
right.
There in South Carolina. So far this year, you've pretty much beaten every team you see regularly, the teams in the area and within the region. So your last loss was against an unfamiliar foe. How do you kind of look at the rest of the schedule? And again, you're probably not going to win every game, but these are teams and programs you're familiar with.
Well, that team we beat, that we lost to that day, they were a good team. They had a good pitcher. One thing about our girls, we've been seeing like every team's top pitchers, and if we're not seeing their number one, we're seeing their number two. So we've had a fight through that. But that team that day, that was a bullpen day, we called it, because that was our third day out of four, playing 4 doubleheaders in a row. So we just tried to go with our pitchers 1 or 2 innings each just to get some work, but not burn anybody out, because knowing that we had another day that we had to go with. And I think with that game, and not to say anything bad about that team, like I said, that was a good team, but I think in a lot of ways we beat ourselves that day, and we actually, I think, could have won that game if we just had a little bit better execution. I think I told you last time, we talk every day about energy, effort, and execution, and I think we just lacked a little bit that day. But when you're playing 3 days in a row and it was a little bit warm down there, it might drain you a little bit. So, and that it was a good learning experience for us, and it was fine. But we just need to keep going forward with that, and just make sure that the energy is there all the time, the effort, and it's a matter of executing, and that's what's going to help us, keep going forward with things.
Right. Well, Coach, I'm not going to eat up too much of your time. I know we got Skylar and Devin, who's going to interview Skylar.
Okay.
Standing off in the corner. We're recording this in my office today because of the job fair. Potentially, I was told, going to use the conference room.
It's all right.
They're not in there.
That's all right. It's all right.
But we got the setup in this office. But we'll let Devin come on, interview Skylar. Coach, good luck with the season moving forward. I'll have you on at least 1 or 2 more times.
Sounds good.
But yeah, and stay tuned because Devin Jones is going to be up with Skylar Welcome.
Hey guys, I'm Devin Jones, and joining me now is sophomore Skylar Welcome. How you doing, Skylar?
I'm good. How are you?
So Skylar, you've been having a lot of standout performances this season. I believe you had a great standout performance against Carl Sandburg, going 3 for 3. What's been clicking for you this season so far?
Mainly, I feel like my defense is a lot stronger than it was last year. I've really been trying to put in a lot more work there, so I feel like my defense has really been clicking. With my hitting, I feel like last year I was more like a power hitter, but this year I feel like I'm more going like gap to gap and just kind of trying to drive in more RBIs and focus on just like hitting into the gaps and getting good hits off of that.
So Skylar, how do you feel you've improved from last season as a sophomore here at JJC? What do you feel you improved on from last season?
Like I said before, like my defense, I feel like I'm making a lot more plays and I'm having a lot more like timely at bats where it's like where we need it, and I'm driving in runs. And then along with pitching, because I did start like really late last season with pitching, I feel like that has also improved and helping out the team a lot this year as well.
As a sophomore, how have you kind of taken that leadership role for a lot of the freshmen on the team, and what have you done to kind of help them feel more comfortable in the system?
I really try to kind of like communicate with all of them and like help them through any of the issues they have, especially if like when we first started out, it was like adjusting to it. I know how it was for me as a freshman trying to adjust to even like being in season because it's a lot of games all at once and then trying to keep on top of all your schoolwork. So I just try to kind of help with that.
And how does like the team trips you guys just came from South Carolina, traveling? How does that kind of help with building the team chemistry as well?
When we're on trips, we are with each other most of the time, especially with the people that we room with. So we're always around each other. We kind of just try to kind of keep communication or with each other, especially because when we travel now, that we're back from the trip, we have a lot of away games this year. So we're kind of around each other all the time. So it's like kind of finding that bond where it's like we're allowed to be around each other all the time and like not really try to clash as much.
What is your major at JJC, and what do you plan to do after you leave here this year?
I was originally looking into athletic training and then I ended up switching into sports marketing and I'm hoping to continue on at a different college for sports marketing.
Okay. And back onto the topic with the team. You guys are 19-4 right now. What do you feel like has been the key to this momentum so far?
I feel like just kind of keeping our energy up during the games. Like we have all these cheers that we go through during the games, kind of trying to be one and then just keeping the energy up. Because I know personally, like when I'm at the plate, hearing everyone cheer and just being loud for me kind of like helps me keep my energy up and want to do good for the team.
Okay. And what are the goals for you for the rest of this season?
For me, just to kind of stay on top of what I've been doing, improve on my batting, keep doing what's best for the team, kind of keep everyone interlocked together. And then the end goal is obviously to get to the World Series.
And with the World Series, what do you feel like needs to be done as the team in order to get to that?
I just feel like we need to improve a little bit more on communication, especially on and off the field. Just if we get that down, then I feel like we can definitely get to the World Series.
Okay. Thank you, Skylar.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Coffee with the Wolves. Again, thank you to our sponsor, Grounded Coffee Bar, and we'll see you next week.